This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning. We also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 17th of November 2021, and I am Miss K.
I'm Tuam.
And I am JM. In case you missed the headlines this morning, here they are in the Daily Nation. Prison break or inside job? The hard questions. In the Standard, how terror convicts escaped committee. In the Star, Mutua's reality check conned by US cab driver. And in the People Daily, RUTO remarks anchor Central Kenya leaders. Well, Tuam, take us off today.
You know, William Ruto is convinced his only opponent is Raila Odinga and the deep state. We want to tell him he is dead wrong. He's got a bigger opponent than Raila and the deep state, and that is international capital, the West. In fact, we want to hypothesize the West will stop Ruto from ever being president. In explaining this, allow me to pose a few questions. One, is it a coincidence that the British government nominated Karim Khan to be ICC prosecutor? Of all the Queen's Counsel barristers in the UK, why did Her Majesty's government only back William Ruto's lawyer? Is it because Khan has all of Ruto's data? Two, is it a coincidence that the presiding judge in Charles Gisheru's case was actually the officer that collected evidence in the Ruto Sang case? Miata Maria Samba, a Sierra Leone national, was the officer that compiled all the evidence while working under Luis Moreno Ocampo in the Ruto Sang case. Last week, she admitted all the Ruto Sang evidence to the Charles Gisheru case. And finally, the third question. Is it a coincidence that Charles Gisheru, out of nowhere, chose to surrender himself to the ICC? How come Charles Gisheru surrendered himself to the ICC on November 2nd, 2020, and then 90 days later, Ruto's lawyer Karim Khan was named ICC prosecutor? What are we saying here? If Ruto has not romanced Western capital, they will not trust him with their interests. If Ruto has never been to Davos, to the Paris Club meetings, to G8 and to G20 meetings, he's a nobody, at least at the world stage. And if he's a nobody, he cannot purport to take care of Vodafone or Diageo or Microsoft or Google or Finlay's interests in Kenya. If 50% of all blue chip companies in Kenya are headquartered in London, London will have a say in who takes care of their interests in Nairobi. And if those interests are threatened, then that's how your lawyer becomes a prosecutor. Ruto, therefore, the West is coming for you, and Mama Mboka will not help you. Kimaumana.
It's an interesting perspective you raised there.
Very, very interesting, and it's interesting to know that we have said this in the past. They should know that John Pierre Bemba's situation is coming back to haunt us.
Absolutely.
Now, today, I would like to continue the conversation I started yesterday regarding the forced runoff hypothesis. Yesterday, I poked holes into the Ruto-Mudavadi-Kalonzo axis. We established that Ruto has a greater incentive to form an alliance with JB Muturi than with Mudavadi or Kalonzo, since with a Gema candidate, he will stand to obtain at least 2/3 of Gema in a best case scenario. And this way he will start the contest 6 million strong.
Right.
But because Ruto knows he cannot win round one, his best bet strategically is to divide the contestants in the same way that Moi did during the 92 election.
Right.
So that when he emerges number one in that round, the perception of victory can convince the masses that he will win in round two. The Mamambogas that you're talking about.
Yes.
But what about the other horse in this two-horse race? The person who's now become the underdog in this competition, and that is Raila Odinga. Raila, running with Governor Lee Kinyanjui, with his 2.2 million Luo support base, will also start off with 1/3 of Gema, equivalent to about 1.8 million votes, and 2 million Luyas. That is 2.5 minus the 480. 100,000 that Mudavadi will poll when he's running alone. So this brings Raila's starting point as well to a cool 6 million votes. 6 million strong for Raila, same as William Ruto. So what we can take to the bank, ladies and gentlemen, Raila and Ruto will have an equal starting point, more or less.
Yes.
Depending on that constellation.
Yeah.
And this is where things begin to get interesting. This is where Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka comes in to save the day.
Yes.
Kalonzo, as I hypothesized yesterday, has a greater incentive to run alone in the first round because it is what the political business cycle necessitates.
Absolutely.
Kalonzo controls 2.1 million Canberra votes.
Yes.
He is officially the official swing vote for the 2022 election.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We are actually in a repeat of the 2007 election. That's a scenario we are looking at.
Yep. Upita katikati.
Sindio.
Yeah.
So Kalonzo knows it, and that is why his game of primary thrust is to position himself as the tiebreaker for the 2022 election. And he knows his worth will be highest not before, but after the election.
Correct.
So, Kalonzo, dear viewers, will not, and you heard it here first, and you can even take it to the bank, Kalonzo will not form a pre-election coalition agreement. He is more interested in the post-election coalition agreement, like that one of 2007. When Raila will be in his most desperate moment, as Kibaki was in the year 2008, Kalonzo will show up like the Messiah and throw his weight behind him in round 2. And that is how Kalonzo will become our next prime minister under a Raila presidency.
That's an excellent hypothesis. I can't wait for it. This week, former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko joined the list of infamous whistleblowers with Sonko Leaks, a 5-part series exposing the rot in the Kenyan judiciary, featuring the judge who presided over his impeachment case, Justice Chitembwe. Now, I will not comment on the contents of the series, but I will say that in a year when the courts have made activist decisions without regard for the implications of those decisions, Sonko Leaks has put a stain on the judiciary, a stain that the public should not be so quick to dismiss. Charles Evan Hughes said that we are under a constitution, but the constitution is what the judges say it is. Kenya is currently living through an era of populist criticism of government and a general distrust of legislators and the laws they make. The result of this hostility has been the emergence of judicial activists. The judges in our courts have seen themselves as quasi-legislators with a license to speak out on all issues and resolve any and all controversies litigants may choose to present before them. So, if it is true that the Constitution is what the judge says it is, then we should put good thought into who our judges are, how those judges are selected, and how we keep them accountable. This is because, according to an anti-federalist writer who wrote under the pseudonym Brutus, the Constitution does not sufficiently check judges. Brutus wrote that judges are independent of the people, of the legislature, and of every power under heaven. Men placed in this situation will soon feel themselves independent of heaven itself. But there's a solution. We could elect judges of the High Court in the same way we elect MPs. In America, and America is our gold standard for democracy and constitutionalism, the federal judiciary is unelected, but the state judiciary is elected. So if the judiciary in Kenya is going to be truly accountable to the people, then maybe we need to change the constitution and make it more accountable. How? Appoint Court of Appeal and Supreme Court judges, but elect High Court judges and limit them geographically to the county that elected them.
Wow. Now we've got a 3-part criteria that we use to assess the headlines. Topical or speculative, repetitive, groundbreaking, thoughtful, or just plain lazy. Prison break. And then Mutua's reality check. Is that even worth a headline?
I don't think it's worth a headline. Toss it.
Toss it completely.
People Daily, Ruto remarks anger Central Kenya leaders. Well, I think it's nice for him to piss off Central Kenya leaders and Central Kenya people, isn't it?
So maybe we give People Daily.
People Daily, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. People Daily gives us our winning headline. Now onto the pieces we call cartoons in this country. We've got the 3-part criteria as well. Humorous or dry, satirical or pessimistic, ineffective or just plain lazy. I'll begin with the Daily Nation. Here's our General Badi, and it's a caricature of him holding a birdcage in which Anne Kananu, the new governor of Nairobi County, is now taking an oath of office. And it implies that although she is now the governor, well, there's a bigger, more powerful boss behind her, and that is General Badi. Long may he reign. Long may NMS reign as well. This business of having civilians govern us, it's really not working.
Absolutely. Jeshi has showed us the way.
Absolutely.
Jeshi efficiency it is.
Yes. Jeshi efficiency, yes. Let's put that in the parking bay. What do we have in the Standard?
In the Standard, we have the proverbial Wanjiku, and she's asking a couple of questions. Well, she's asking one question. She says, we praise and salute our leaders when they steal from public coffers. Then we defend them when they violently murder their spouses. And we cheer our politicians when they harass and beat up their opponents. Then when our children burn schools, we blame the devil and seek divine intervention.
Well, that's a very good question.
It's a very good question that I don't think I can answer.
Kado is posing there. Absolutely. We're really a contradiction in terms of people and our expectations.
Absolutely.
Maybe we need more Jeshi to streamline us.
I agree. Yes. More Jeshi it is.
Right, what do we have in the Star? In the
Star, you have a caricature of Miguna in a highly combustible, what did you call it, Miss K? It's a pufferfish or what?
Pufferfish. I think it's a pufferfish. It looks like a pufferfish.
Yes, and it's got skull and bones. It's a danger sign on there. And in the context of the headlines from Kampala bombings, Kenya on high alert, I don't know what the two have in common.
I think they're throwing a jab that they're saying the high alert is not really Miguna, but the bombings and terrorists. And yet Miguna has gotten so mad, he puffed himself up.
Yes, absolutely.
Thinking that it's all about him.
Absolutely. In the face of red alerts, actually, because Miguna was red alerted. He was put on red alert on an Air France flight. I think we put that on the parking bay, really.
All right, and what do we have in the People Daily?
People Daily, you have a caricature of Raila Odinga marooned on an island. And the caption there is Raila's coast tour. And that panya over there, down there, by Stano, saying, Baba, where are the governors? I think trying to imply that the coastal governors left Baba out in his coastal tour. I don't think that is accurate. But, I mean, do we really care?
No, we don't.
Toss that one.
Toss it.
Absolutely.
So I think it should be either between the Daily Nation or the Standard.
I think the Standard takes this.
Yeah? Okay, so
I say the Standard.
Yeah.
The Standard then gives us our winning cartoon. People Daily gives us our winning headlines. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm at Maina Waka Gema on TikTok.
I'm at J Kambuni on Twitter.
I'm at K Maina on Twitter and Kanda Bongo on TikTok.
Fantastic. Now, just before we conclude the episode, I've got a quote, and I'm inspired here by chess, the game of chess, and these are quotes for William RUTO, and they're about the end game.
Yes.
You see, the game of chess is divided into 3 phases: opening, middle game, and end game.
Right.
And in chess, they say it is a well-known phenomenon that the same amateur who can conduct the middle game quite credibly is usually perfectly helpless in the end game.
That's true.
In other words, RUTO has amassed a winning advantage throughout the middle game.
Yes.
But he won't be able to convert it into victory.
Yes.
Endgame is the craft of pros, not amateurs.
Right.
As we approach endgame, it is becoming quite obvious that RUTO is the amateur.
Yes.
And Uhuru Kenyatta the pro.
Yes.
As the master chess player Evgeny Nosko Brovosky said, in the endgame, the artist must give way to the artisan who is sure of his craft. William RUTO, the artist, must give way to Uhuru Kenyatta, the artisan, the pro.
Yes.
Have a good evening and see you tomorrow.